Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're wondering why this is such a weird angle, it's because this was the only way that I could get both me and the table in so you could see what I was doing. Because I've decided for today's video, I'm going to tell you about the books that I just absolutely adored last year, but I'm only giving myself as long as it takes to put these Lego roses together. So Zach bought these for my birthday. He loves Lego. He adores Lego. I used to do Lego as a kid and I've never had any Lego pieces that were just mine. So I waited to have a quiet moment and I thought, seeing as this is just fucking adorable, I would talk about books that I read in 2023 that I absolutely adored. And I'm calling it books I absolutely adored rather than best books because I'm just doing this off the cuff. This is not super planned out, so it will just be books that I remember reading last year and adoring. Yeah, I missed the boat on best books of the year. Everyone posted theirs in January and December, and I had every intention of posting mine in January, and then I just didn't. I completely ran out of time. I mean, I haven't really posted all that much this year anyway, hence doing the video in Everyday April anyway. So yes, I decided I would talk to you about the books that I adored last year, and hopefully they are actually from last year and that I haven't like thrown in some extra ones, but I only have as long as I can do this basically. Now that might give me plenty of time because it might be that doing two things at once isn't my strong suit. Equally, I might only have like 3 minutes because this is for 8-year-olds, so who knows. But I'm just gonna crack on. Like I said, I've not done Lego by myself in years, so if this gets embarrassing, it gets embarrassing. It is what it is. But I will start with a book that I'm so glad, because a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people do their best books of the year in December. I always avoid doing that because for the last 2 years, I've managed to find a 5 stars in my December reads. And the December read that got a 5-star this time was Clytemnestra. Now, I found the ARC in a secondhand shop, and I hadn't realised that I'd kind of already pre-ordered the hardback for Waypoint, so it was just kind of sat in my box. I was like, sod it, I'll give it a go. So I started reading that whilst down at my parents' house for Christmas. And essentially, if you don't know the story of Clytemnestra, it's a Greek myth around the Battle of Troy. But Clytemnestra is the wife of Agamemnon, and she is a warrior queen. She is the mother of kings, etc. And she loses children left, right, and centre, and decides that enough is enough. And she decides that she's not doing that anymore. She's going to take it out. When Agamemnon sacrifices her daughter, that's it. She's had enough. So I think those are the little pieces. Usually Lego bags come with numbers on, and I'm only assuming that this is bag 1 because I can see that one of the pieces is literally here. So I'm going to open this one first. We'll open that bit in a minute. Yeah, so let's pull these out gently. Do some ASMR. Is that how you do it? Do you dare? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, she decides that she's had enough. She's done with this husband that keeps killing her children, and she plots revenge. Now, we love a revenge story. Obviously, we love a revenge story. What I really liked about this was the historical fiction pacing was very similar to Song of Achilles, and the writing style was very similar to Song of Achilles. So if you enjoy Madeline Miller, you will just inherently enjoy. Oh, I need to open this one anyway because I think those pieces are in there that I need. Okay, we're opening bag 2 as well. Wonderful. Move all these bits together. You can open these up on this side. There we go. Yeah, so I really like the pacing of it, and it gets super dramatic out of nowhere. That's a really simple instruction. It's literally just stick 1 on 1, and I still wanted to double check it. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that. I loved an unhinged woman. We love an unhinged woman. Really liked that kind of narrative. And I really like that there is this like upswing of feminist gaze Greek myth retellings. So I'm really enjoying that we're finally getting to see the stories of women who I mean, the fact is they're myths, right? So they're not real, but are part of these narratives. I think it's really important, fundamentally, and really fucking basic, that that's a thing that we should be doing. So I love that we're finally seeing that. Another book that I really enjoyed, much of the same sort of unhinged historical fiction, was Rizzio. Now, I adored Rizzio. Oh my god, it was so good. I said in my wrap-up yesterday that Denise Mina had me by the throat, and genuinely, I have not stopped talking about this book since. I just haven't stopped talking about it. I made myself a chai latte and it's still too hot, but I really wanted some. Okay, we've now got other pieces that are doing other things and I've got to concentrate. Apparently, the sticking stuff together is not the issue. Apparently, the issue is me talking and looking for things at the same time. Okay, I think it's these pieces. Okay, so Rizzio, I genuinely don't know how you could have been on my channel and not have heard of Rizzio yet, but Rizzio is essentially about the coup that takes place for Mary Queen of Scots in her chambers, basically, where one of her advisors is assassinated in an attempt to control her. So, you know, just guys being guys, I guess. Heaven forfend they have a woman in charge and actually get shit done. Instead, they decide to have a coup. So they basically break in. But the way it's written is half thriller mystery, half Shakespearean drama. And I love both of those things. So I loved this book. It had me by the throat. Every time you think you're going to like a character, they betray you. They betray you in a way that is hurtful and unkind, and I hated that, but I loved it. It was so cleverly crafted. I keep talking about how cleverly crafted it was, because the fact that it's a novella and it packs such a punch, I think is genuinely incredible, because I think some books will work tirelessly, page after page after page, trying to get you to fall in love with their characters and the narrative, and they're just doing too much. So to be able to craft something so clever and so majestic in so few words, chef's kiss. Loved it. 10 out of 10, would recommend. So I actually started the year really strong with Project Hail Mary. And it actually inspired one of my videos last year about not liking sci-fi. Now, you can argue that The Martian is less sci-fi and more kind of scientific contemporary. You can't really argue that with Project Hail Mary because there are aliens. I loved Murderbot, and it had a really similar writing style to Murderbot. And I really enjoyed the kind of personal contemporary level. I was shipping characters. That was a thing, which apparently in those kind of science fiction books, you just shouldn't bother doing. So we now have like little buds, by the way. We've created a little rosebud. Apparently it's just not worth your time doing that because nothing's going to happen. I feel like a lot of this is just going to be that I really liked this, etc. But I did really like it. I thought the main character was your classic grumpy guy problem solver. I liked that it had a very different kind of hopeful narrative to The Martian. In The Martian, you have him actively trying to get home or survive long enough to be taken home, and you also have the dichotomy of the people at home trying to save him now they know he survived. In this, hope relies singularly on this guy, and I don't know what it is about the way Andy Weir, is that his name? Crafts an isolated story, a story of, do you know what, maybe it's the gothic element of that, like the isolation, the survival needed mentally, the mental capacity to survive when you are solely alone was just so clever. It was so clever. I thought it really brought something different to the other sci-fis that I've read that I've not enjoyed. I think that personal element and the fact that it's not solely focused on building worlds that don't make any fucking sense, but working, even like, I'm not a scientist, but I find science fascinating. It was that perfect cusp of, I believe everything he's saying because it sounds scientific, and it's just bombastic enough that it could be completely fake, but I'm running with it anyway. I'm suspending my disbelief and I'm having a great time. And never once have I described a book as bombastic on my channel before, but Project Hail Mary is a bombastic book and I'm so here for it. Right, next. Okay, so we do this bit first on top, and then these bits on the sides. I think this is going to go in the middle. I read quite a few romances last year, and yet, off the top of my head, I can't remember any of them. I can't remember which ones I specifically read last year versus this year. That's not true, except for Love Theoretically. Good morning, Editing Hannah here. I actually meant Love on the Brain. I meant Love on the Brain, but for some reason could only remember the Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically. Love on the Brain, the title completely escaped me. So every time I say Love Theoretically, moving forwards, I mean Love on the Brain, which is the second Ali Hazelwood that I've read. I have to shove this in there, and there's no way of doing that without getting stabbed. This is for 8-year-olds, Lego. I could get an injury. I'm gonna sue. Okay, that looks super cute. That looks really sweet. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying my time with Lego, I'll be honest. Didn't think I was a Lego girly. Turns out I'm a Lego girly. Who saw that coming? So, Love Theoretically is very, very similar in writing style to Love Hypothesis. Clearly, Ali Hazelwood has found her niche, has found her vibe, and much like Project Hail Mary, it's just a sprinkling of science on top of what is essentially a contemporary story that is very tropey and a good fucking time. And I really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Love Hypothesis. Okay, what? Is that a spare piece? Worrying. Disconcerting. Yeah, I don't think I loved it as much as Love Hypothesis, but I think there is a Reylo element to Love Hypothesis that I just naturally enjoyed because I really enjoy the Reylo narrative. Sorry, not sorry. I'm trash for Reylo. Yes, it is partly because Adam Driver is hot, but it's also because what a tragic love story. Love that shit. So I really, really enjoyed this one. I liked that the world builds more. I like that the stakes are higher scientifically and literally. The fact that we've got people flailing with guns, etc. Wild. Loved it. I do feel like the love interest could have been developed a little bit more. I feel like he could have been a bit more interesting, but he didn't need to be. He was brooding and angry enough that kind of carried it. Okay, now we're clipping things. How exciting. 2 little rosebuds. I'm putting on petals next. What I especially love about Ali Hazelwood, not just the fact that she's writing romances set in STEM, which I love that. I love when women have interesting jobs in romance books and they're not just office workers or writers. It's very easy for writers to write about writing. It's very easy for them to do that. They do that every goddamn day. I do that every goddamn day. I could write about being a writer. Why would I? Everyone's already done it. But having said that, I really like it when writers either have a background in something different or are fully prepared to explore other careers for their characters. And I really like the fact that Ali Hazelwood has found her niche in science because science background. Like that. Here for it. I love women in STEM books in general. Usually I'm used to them being sci-fis, but actually in romance it was a vibe. I liked that, like I said, the stakes were raised. I like the fact that there's always some kind of neurodivergence or physical disability with the main characters as well. We love disability rep. There was LGBT rep in this as well, much like the first one. So yeah, I've bought every book of Ali Hazelwood's. Every single one. I've bought every single one. And I'm really tempted to do a reading their entire backlist and just reading every Ali Hazelwood book. But I'm also really enjoying reading them at a far more gentle pace. So I'm not entirely sure I want to ruin it for myself by bulk reading them. But I think if I did, I'd have a really good time. I can so see why people get into Lego. This, like the little clip snap, is so satisfying. What else did I read in 2023 that is worth shouting about? Oh, the other Bennett sister. Oh my god. Okay, so obviously last year I did my massive Pride and Prejudice video blog thing, do you know what's it? And I travelled up and down the UK visiting my friends to make interesting B-roll. That was the absolute reason why I did it, for sure. Not to see people because I like hanging out with them, but because I wanted the B-roll. Yeah, of all the different versions of Pride and Prejudice that I read, I mean, some of them were awful. Some of them were genuinely bad. The other Bennett sister was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really clever take on the narrative. I thought, considering Mary has got to be the least interesting character, in Pride and Prejudice. Managing to take 600 words, 600 pages about her and making it interesting is impressive. We've got roses. That looks like a rose to me. So what I also really liked is it didn't have quite like a Bridgerton style, loads of love interests, what's going to happen vibe to it, which I was kind of worried it would, because a lot of Pride and Prejudice retellings do tend to focus just a little too much on the kind of super dramatic love elements of Pride and Prejudice rather than the kind of narrative of family, which was really prevalent in this one, the narrative of class, which is really important. You know, like Jane Austen didn't put those things in for larks, right? She had a fucking message. She had something to say with regards to those things. It was really important for her to share those narratives, and I really like that the other Bennet sister did that. I thought as a historical fiction it was really interesting in general, and it looked at the fact that Mary being the last to marry was an issue, not just for her family but for her options, for her choices. She did not have the same choices that her sisters had because she just, you know, she wasn't as attractive. She didn't have that je ne sais quoi. There we go. I'm not usually a massive fan of love triangles, but I did actually really enjoy the fact that there was a love triangle in this, and that Mary not only had options, but she had to make choices based on what her life would be like. I thought that was really good and really important for a Jane Austen narrative, because, you know, there is a reason that Lizzie Bennet turns down 2 proposals. And it's not just because she's a petty bitch, it's because she has to make a decision about her future happiness. She has to make a decision regarding her husband actually being the man that he says he's going to be. So yeah, another great one, and actually a really interesting historical fiction as well as historical romance. 10 out of 10, would recommend. My petals keep moving and I'm genuinely concerned that I'm going to break something. And I've got to the point now where I've put enough effort in that I will care if I break something. What else did I read last year? I read like 100 or so books. How am I now no longer able to remember any of them? Is that how unimaginative they were? How uninteresting they were? No, I don't think so. I know they were great books, but I think the thing is I'm struggling to remember what I read this year and what I read the year before. These petals do not want to pop snap. Another one that I read that I haven't really recommended all that much because I don't know who I would recommend this to, but not because it's not worth recommending, is Zoe Gilbert's Mystery Facts. And it's another one that feels like a Shakespeare but isn't. It's a very clever book that starts off almost like a Beowulf ballad type thing, and then ends up becoming quite an interesting narrative. It's set in London. It's set in a woods in London, but you don't realise that's where it is until almost the very end of the book. Okay, I think I put these to the side for now. But just for context, we are almost fully rosed up now. Although it's saying that I can bend them forwards, and at the moment I cannot. And it kind of like, there's elements of it that feel like Greek myth, and there's elements of it that feel like a folk tale, and it's just a really interesting narrative. It's a really kind of interesting take on British style folk mysteries, and I really like the kind of mixed media elements that follows this really interesting character who is essentially a hunter. He's kind of like a hunter of this royal court who is betrayed, and oh shit, that bit's coming out. Yeah, is betrayed by his friends at the court and basically becomes a curse on the land. And it makes animals go crazy and it makes animals do really weird shit. There aren't any like specific characters in that narrative. They kind of fall into certain tropes. I don't know if I have much more to say on that, and I feel like I've got a little distracted, but that's fine. We have a stem, people. We have a stem. I straight up don't remember. I don't remember any other books that I read. And I know I had a list originally of 10 that I was like really excited to tell you guys about. And now I can't remember any of them. So I guess that's it. Those are the best books that I read last year. To be fair, it wasn't my best reading year ever. There were plenty of 5 stars. I'll just have to do a complete list of 5-star books. Because I can't remember. I don't remember. Yeah? Hey baby, you gonna come say hi? Oh, hello baby. Hello baby. You gonna come say hi? I know you're not gonna sit on my lap. You won't sit on my lap, I know. But you gotta say hi to the people. And you're not climbing on with Lego. Like, what else did I read? I read loads. I know I unhauled loads. And I know that there's some books that I gave 5 stars that I'm not going to talk about on my channel anymore because the authors came out as super problematic. Which is always a shame. But yeah, I can't remember. I just can't remember. It was supposed to be 5 each. It's not 5 each, it's 4 each. Because I'm missing one of these pieces and I'm missing 2 green pieces. So, okay. Hopefully that will stay put now. Okay, I'm a child because that amuses me. Anyway. So now I got a little curvy curve on the thorny thorns. And then that's it. Around so they look cute. And then we have it. I made a Lego rose. I did it all by myself. Now I just need to get a Lego vase to put my Lego roses in. There we go. I made 2 Lego roses. And I completely forgot about all the interesting books that I read, but hey, it only took me 45 minutes. Thankfully for you guys, I will have edited a lot of that gumph out, so you won't have to suffer through that. But let me know in the comments down below what your favourite read of 2023 was, if you're still interested in that. Or let me know what your favourite read of 2024 is so far. Treat yourself to something from Waypoint because it supports me and my content. If you want to leave a little rose emoji in the comments down below just so I know that you're here, feel free to do that, and check out the links in the description because I have a Patreon now. Most importantly though, have a nice day.